Actually, on a serious level, I once talked about this, like what is motivation and what is confidence. I think some of it in gaming is comfort. How comfortable you get in the server. So I'm giving you a serious answer. You were looking for a troll, but I think a lot of it's how comfortable you are on the map, which is something that's actually a decent point because we're now going to move to a playing zone that everyone should be more comfortable with.
Exactly.
We're getting off of Miramar, out of that dry heat. Which it is quite hot today in Sweden, and we're getting to Erangel, which is a little bit more traditional, a little bit more what teams are used to seeing, and certainly what you as an analyst are more familiar with the teams and sort of their set spots. We saw a few different teams changing around in that last map, whereas in this map we kind of know where everyone goes, the phase, rotations, etc.
And I mean, coming from event to event, I think we see more and more teams actually changing up their spots, and that's actually kind of exciting and kind of interesting. You know, you go from one LAN where you're in one spot, and then you know there's a team not going here, so there's actually a better loot spot for us to go. But the thing is, if you're a team that's been playing together for like 6 months, then you're used to those rotations. If you're phase, you've been rotating out of Milta Power the last 9 months. So another team coming in there, we saw it actually at PGI, a team tried to come in. They were from South America. They played actually the Milta Power. They copied kind of phase strats, but they did not. They kind of tried to play it the same until the second and third circle, and from there they just didn't pick up the pace because you're used to rotating from the area you loot. And I think, you know, being an adaptive team is really important. I think that's what makes you really confident. It's also, you know, being adaptive, being able to just go where you want to and where is the best for you.
Well, you made an interesting point about teams sort of having their set routes for the last 6 months, if you will. They kind of know where they want to play. But there's 2 teams that have made changes, notable changes. Obviously, Liquid's about on the brink of making a change. We've got a few stand-ins here, Sengel as well. But the 2 are Vitality and Penta. Penta's got a brand new player in Kaint.
Yeah. And honestly, for me, Kane, he kind of just adds to the roster. He's a fantastic player. He played with Lumbermill when they got second at the last Global League. So they got second there. When they were with Lumbermill, now he's here. He played actually with the 2 Dignitas members, Woogie Boogie and Gustav, very good players as well. But now he's here in Penta, very good roster change for them. They're still going to be looting west of Milta, I suppose. I'm pretty sure they're going to do. I'm confident they're going to do that. And then, of course, you said Vitality, completely new change. You know, coming out of the last event, we're talking 5 or 6 scrims days. We're talking less than 50 games. Complete new roster. And, you know, they've talked about the expectations. They don't have that much expectations at the moment, but it's an insane roster, to be honest. Jazz and Yannick, very good players. They changed the in-game leader. Yannick is now the in-game leader. And I think they're going to be going into military now, where they used to go Milta, but Munulf actually goes there now, so yeah.
Milta was a super popular position for a long period of time. Obviously, coming back from PGI, a lot of these teams will be used to the 20-team meta, but there's a lot more freedom for some of these teams. I'm curious to see how many are going to try and take advantage of that. Obviously, down toward the south of the map along the riverbank. You get to the farm split. You've been talking about that a little bit earlier today. There's a lot more room to move and sort of be dynamic in those positions early on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we just take a portion of the map, you have Milta Power, you have Lipovka, you have the farms that I talked about. You have 5 or 6 teams in an extremely small area, but FaZe is used to this. They're actually shut in the middle. They have 2 or 3 teams on the west, 2 or 3 teams on the north, depending on what we think is going to happen. We think maybe, you know, Set to Destroy X, they're going to go Lipovka. You have your Moonwolf and Milta, you have your Penta in the farm split area, you have your Knights, you have the Mansion, Prison. But they wait. No matter what the circle is, except if it's completely on them, they just wait. They loot. They get looted up to their mines. They have, you know, 200 bullets for each gun, lots of scopes, everything, so they can fight their game. They like fighting in the end game.
A lot of talk about FaZe. You've already mentioned it a few times. We obviously mentioned it off the top of it because it is the team that was missing and absent from the most recent tournament, and probably the best team in the world. I think that's the popular consensus.
Yeah, it is.
They're on a slower start. Okay, and they're not a day 1 team, but they're still in the race, and that's important. Whereas the next question I want to pose, wildcard, amazing start. Slow game 2, but back into 4th place overall with another top 5 finish toward the end. Is there any team that didn't really show anything on Miramar that you wanted more from, that you expected more from, maybe?
I kind of expected more from Ghost, actually. Balak just said it in the interview, not the start they wanted. They actually prefer Miramar as one of the only competitive teams, and they expected more of it. Unfortunately, it was very centered circles. We saw those 3 kind of centered circles, and those are kind of the worst circles for them because they loot down east. They're far away, and they kind of hope for one of those, you know, hard circles. But
I was surprised by that. All 3 of the circles being so similar.
Extremely similar. And you know, you have like 10 or 12 teams already in the circle from the start, and then they have a very rough rotation because they kind of come late off into those circles.
I think that, just to go back to talk about Miramar, because obviously we're going to see it 6 more times. We play each map 9 times for a total of 18 games. If you want to do maths, I think. Yeah, exactly. On stream, always a risk. Even when it's 1+1, you never know if it's going to to be 2 or not.
I like it. You're throwing it still straight out there. I
know. Oh, yeah. No, but the point is, with the very centric circles that we had, the concentric circles on the map, again, Sangol changed their position a little bit. We saw WC was going pretty early out of the plane, but everyone else seemed to be stuck into a pretty similar pattern. I think tomorrow, if those circles start going even like northeast, like you say, down towards southeast, anywhere east, a lot of those teams are going to be out of their comfort zone that they've 100%. Just had created for them in that sample size.
And you saw, I mean, most of these, for me, Miramar adds more RNG to the game and adds more gifted circles. You get easier into the end game because the rotations are so hard. You lose your cost 1 circle earlier than you do in Erangel, and just the rotations are so much harder that if you get a circle in the 3rd and 4th circle, you're so much more gifted towards the end game.
Yeah, and I think that whole Bermuda Triangle they talked about, by the way, I think that is a huge part of it, because if you go center, that center of the map's so open, whereas if you get sort of, especially in the east, there's a lot more cover you can play off of, but that's neither here nor there. I think part of it as well, though, is perhaps teams still getting used to the fact that, I mean, I remember, I don't play, obviously, at the same level, and I don't play too seriously, but even playing with various players that I do that are tryhards and whatnot, it used to be that common, I'm sure everyone's had it, avoid Miramar, no, requeue. I think that even some of the pro teams are so much more used to how they move and how to expect other teams and be able to push out of rotations. If we see, based on the algorithm, water circles today, I guess with the 16 teams in the motion, it depends on where it is, but who do you really think can actually be the most mobile? Who's the best in rotation on this map?
I mean, on Erangel, no doubt about it, FaZe is the best rotational team in the world. That's why they're considered the best team in the world, because they're so good at approaching circles. They know how to stop and scout at the right times, at the right moment. They know where other teams are, but they don't care about it. They just play their own game, make sure they get into the circles, get into a good position, and if they get down to 1 or 2 players, they just, dive for the middle, kind of like Liquid does very well. Go into the middle, make sure they kind of snake it out. We've seen Gemty done it like multiple times the last 6 months, and that's what they're really good at. But if they get 4 guys alive towards the end game, in 4th, 5th circle, they just wreck people.
Yeah, I'm excited
especially
to see
on Erangel. It's hard on a Miramar, and also because Miramar actually changed 3 times, and it's changing one more time on the new patch. And as you said, they dodge it. The only time they play Miramar is in GLL. It's a new map. I actually like the map. I still think the map has some
I like
hidden
it in
potential.
Situations. Yeah, I'll give you that. And that's I think the key in it. It's situational based on. Gotta love the Canadian flag. Just a shout out. I'll do it if Marissa's doing it. I'll do it. That's Interrogate, obviously. It's a map, I think, that is highly dependent. So today, with the very centered circles that we did see, it brought a lot of that flat space and obviously the roads that sort of triangulate and cordon off the map. But as you say, if you get into some of the hills, there's so much cool terrain you can play on foot.
Exactly, and those are the circles we love, right? Those are the circles we love playing ourselves. Those are the circles we like seeing the pros play because they have a whole other approach to it. But those where you're on the top of a hill, there's a guy down on a compound, and the circle shifts away from you. You have to run down the hill towards the guys on the compound, and you have like a lack of cover. Those are the ones you hate to play, and those are also the hardest to play as a pro. But you actually see the very best teams, the teams that are the very best at playing Miramar, they adapt to those circles very well. They make a big rotation. You just go out of hand to just
TG.
get away. Yeah.
That rotation was huge.
It's like a huge rotation, and it actually benefited them because the circle came towards them. Of course, we as casters, we as viewers, we have multiple camera angles. We have the maps, we have everything. But these teams, they're making decisions based off the information they have, and they knew that there's a phase looting in Montenueva. They didn't want to go through that. Okay, they go north. We can see in the map, yes, Montenueva is open, but still, we're thinking that's a far rotation. That you're coming all the way through San Martin and down towards Picado just to get an edge of the circle. Tollens Lions.
Yeah,
they're currently sitting first. I'm extremely surprised because recently they didn't even qualify for the ESL Master Shot.
I was going to get to this point actually, because one of the other teams they just showed was the Knights, Pittsburgh Knights, who were the top qualifier online from the EU region for this event. But to switch and get back to them, because I think they've had a slower start. Yeah. On the reverse side of that, another team that I didn't know what to expect from for that reason, Lions came into this as the 7th rated EU team. As you say, they missed ESL Meisterschaft, and now, because of that, they find themselves in a whole different position than anyone expected with, I think, 25 kills as a team, perhaps more than that at this point.
Absolutely
960 points, 200-point lead, and most kills and a win late. They've looked really aggressive and confident. I hate to say that word, but comfortable in doing it. It seems to be in their playstyle to take these fights and start to engage.
And that's actually typical what they do.
First international LAN for them.
First international LAN, and we're talking here. I mean, this is kind of what they typically do. They come into the lobby when you start a LAN, when you start an online qualifier and everything. They go very aggressive in the beginning, and that's actually what I love seeing from them. They go aggressive. They play the same playstyle, and then the more comfortable they get throughout the online leagues and everything, the more quiet they play. But
yeah, here we go. I'm excited. We're going to get into some PUBG, and we've got our first plane pretty central, down the middle. Pretty easy to get out from all positions of the map from this as well. So north-south with a slightly western bias. And I imagine we'll see FaZe heading far over to the right side of the map anytime. A lot of mid-map drops toward the school and toward, obviously, Rozak in that position early on.
And this is actually one of the harder planes because, as I just said, you know, we have 5 teams in the southeastern part of the map. And they're actually having a hard time. So they're dropping for the same cars now. They're going for the exact same cars. They're going for the SAP spawns. So we could actually see somebody get knocked by a vehicle.
2-2 drop already from Sengel, by the way. They're committing to that early, whereas they were the team last map that seemed to find themselves in precarious positions early on. In fact, I think in the second game they finished, if not 16th, 15th at best, and had 2 players down before anyone else was even really engaged into a fight. So they've got to be careful not to get caught off by that.
Hopefully they will have a better game here in Erangel. The map there, everybody, all the competitive players, they are more used to, they're more comfortable and everything. Let's just see here in North George, we only have 2 teams in George. 1 team North, 1 team South. Imagine the amount of loot they're going to get that. Yeah, that's not usual. I mean, Larsen is sitting here. He's usually looting South George. Nobody kind of contests him there. But sometimes you have people in Create, you have people in North George kind of splitting it to 2. But Dignitas, they're going to go shooting in Cerveny. They've done that all season. Liquid is going to go Yasnaya, as they usually do. M19 is going to contest them for the eastern side. Yasnaya is such a big city, it's easily shareable.
Ghost, you've already mentioned it. They need a bigger game. Oh, look at that circle. Ooh. First circle, and we go as far southwest as you can get. Look at the amount of water that's already in this first stage. So now, you said it, there was a lot of teams heading that direction. It, as we see it panning out, turns to 2, spread out over Primorsk and obviously the Quarry. That Primorsk fight becomes extremely important, and the fact that they can control the coastline within it. Navi's got great position early on. Conversely, look up toward Yaz.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a huge amount of pressure on the northern, on 90 degrees of the circle. There's going to be coming in, 13 teams is going to be coming in from that side. Vitality, they went to military. Yannick with the new in-game leader, they have been in Rogue. They have been going military for so long, so they're going to be crossing the ferry pier to the ferry pier quite early.
And you want to talk about getting loot late and having a long way to go. FaZe is only just getting over toward Milta Power now. They're just in their convoy, which means that everyone else has a chance to get on the move ahead of them and get ahead of them in rotations as well. And just to note as well, Vitality, the only one on Millbase, you said they used to go, on Millbase, used to go Milta Power. There you go. See, I'm confusing the M's.
Yeah.
This is a whole other kettle of fish for them because they've got a massive amount of loot and they can control the bridge, control the island, and use boats. They can rotate how they please.
Exactly, and they had like everything to themselves with Yannick that Rogue used to own military base. Nobody contested that for them. And with Jassa and Yannick going from Rogue, or the roster actually being disbanded, and being picked up by Vitality, they're going to go there again, and it's a very good loot. I mean, they want to have as much loot as possible, and they don't care about the circles. They're going to come in as late as possible if the circle is not on them. This is a circle they need to capitalize on. They need to move early. They need to get into a position where they can be greedy, go play a 2-2 split in the middle, close to the middle, where nobody else is. But look at this, Ghost, early push. McCoy is going to go extremely early, and he's going to take one of the big compounds.
Yeah, this is actually smart. Get them that information, get them the ground early. They can still get all the information for the rotations from the, obviously, northeast position. I'm very curious with Liquid and M19 as to leaving Yaz. That's a hard field to cross without being... I mean, obviously, they're aware of the other teams there. That's scouted on drop. But it's a question of who goes first, little game of cat and mouse between them potentially, and trying to get position and trying to get the car positions. Obviously, cars down towards school and prison. But getting out of that city without having one of those babysat is a whole other game.
Yeah, and I actually want to talk a bit about Knights and Set to Destroy X here, because I actually heard that Set to Destroy X, they're going to go Lipovka, a place that Knights usually send one guy to just to get a little loot, because they don't feel like that's enough loot for, multiple people. But Set to Destroy X, they're like, okay, you know what, we're going to go 2 guys there, we're going to do a 2-2 split, we're going to send 1 guy up to the north if it's open, so Rift is going up to Kameski and looting that area, Fignaldo is looting the compounds, and then they have Snakers and Survivor in Lipovka actually contesting Drayden.
Yeah, Drayden being alone has to be extremely careful in this position.
Yeah. Knights as well. On the usual split, I actually did expect them to back out of this. It looks like he's not going to go for a fight. It looks like he's going to go back to the compound looting or joining Voxic in the prison area. But we'll see what happens there. We of course have 2 more games after this on Erangel, so it's 3 games of Miramar, 3 games of Erangel, total of 18 games, as you said. 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of time. Sure, there's people that are obviously an amazing start from Lions, but by no means is anyone on day 1 by far and away gone and clear. Really rotation from Sengdal, by the way. They went for that 2-2 between, obviously, up towards Zarki and North George. They now get inside of the circle with early information. Nova's going to come down out of South George, already. But a lot of changes over by Knight's position. You talked about this earlier as well, because they do this split almost 4 different entire locations on the map, but it's hard to contest it because anyone that goes for one of those positions is then going to have the entire team rotating in behind them.
Exactly. Look at this. Pride. He's going to get an MK14 and full level 3. Good position from him already. They have the West Coast. They're already in the Quarry, and now they're going to get level 3 on top of that. It's going to be fantastic for them. Mikoy, oh, look at this. Navi is pushing. They heard Mikoy coming in from here. They're pushing him, and they're going to take a fight with him.
Yeah, they're going to take a fight with him. He's got really nowhere to hide, so he'll go down early. Yuga's got the first kill, and Navi will take the high ground. No chance Mikoy gets out of this. So Ghost, who had a slow start on map 1, I say map 1, the first 3 games of map 1 on Miramar, now have this similar situation to fight themselves out of on Erangel. It's not at all what they wanted. As Bullock and Turtle try and rotate in, Profi, who gets aggressive and looks for information, is the only one there. Meanwhile, Drayden is gone. STDX have found him, and without any mistake at all, they'll take care of him inside of the city.
Yeah, and they actually dropped it quite early and then drove down there, so I'm not even sure that Drayden was fully aware that they were there. But now, for sure, we're not going to see him in Lipovka again. He's not going to go alone to contest 2 guys. So he's probably going to go to the prison, join Voxic there, and see what's going to happen. But now, look at this. We're going to see the rotations. They're going to be coming in. Liquid already rotated. They went out of the west side. They had the west side of Yasnaya, and they went out of the west. M19... They have the east side. They're going to go out of the east. So they're avoiding each other completely and doing some safe rotations.
That's fair. That's a fair call. It's so early on. There's no need to get too carried away with that fight if they're not looted up. Liquid getting out early and getting on the move. They have to. Obviously going to be using cars to do so. Another thing with using a car, yes, it's circle 1. There's lots of space to do it. But because, as you say, basically half of the circle is water and there's a 90-degree section, it does reveal quite a bit when you get in toward this outside. Anyone who wants to gatekeep at this circle early on, I think, can really have a massive chance of being successful in doing it. As we see, Kickstart went down early for Actually, I shouldn't say early. Suicided in map 2, unfortunately. The car decided it had enough of his driving. I know that Frost has offered to give driving lessons to him.
Yeah, I think you should take that. If you suicide, then you should definitely take... he's the best worst driver. So, if you're suiciding, you can get a little...
Yeah, there's nothing... It can't get any worse, right? No, there's only a little way up to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the point I was going to make. Vitality actually...
I was going to say, this is an early move from them. They want to swing and try and force Navi out, and they'll take... Exactly. They can take over all of Primorsk right now. If they get down to the deep side of that, again... In CS, we use the term playing with a wall. Put your back to the wall, and therefore no one's behind you. It's the same thing with the water right now, with the blue. They can let everyone be in front of them. They've got less angles to focus, and all they have to do is continue to clear on the rotations. As Bullock makes contact with Lions, remember, they're the killers right now. No pun intended. Just kidding, every pun intended. They've had the lion's share of all the kills and are in the lead, but it's Chris gone down to Balak already. Great find from Ghost as they continue to fan out and try and find map control.
Yeah, and they actually took a very good compound here. And I was surprised to see McCoy is going in even deeper. Yeah, he's going to get finished off. They have 2 angles on him as well. Balak is going wide on the left side. Turtle's already out there. He's going to get there. So Balak's going to take down Chris here from Lions, as you said. Top fraggers at the moment. And number 1, sorry.
Watch Penta, though, because they're starting to come in. Liquid's engaging, and Moonwolf can easily, I think, swing in on top of this. Andy's a little bit preoccupied. Knights as well. That's the big part of the rotation right now, down toward the bridge entrance. On this circle is absolutely going to be a battle of positioning, and Liquid's been caught out a few times so far early on. Obviously, look, Samty had an unbelievable play in the last map to salvage what ultimately was a very slow start, but map 1, they got caught in transition early, and it's the same problem here. They get in, they get control, but they've got to be very cautious of the fact that Penta has better positioning behind them, at least for now in the circle.
Yeah, they're kind of gatekeeping them, and with this position that Liquid has with Penta, they can actually gatekeep a lot of teams because they're going to be coming in from this area. Just north of Therapy, there's a dip there in the hills between that compound that is like north of them. But that's actually a very played hill for Liquid, and they love playing that. But Knights, and they're actually doing a 2-2 split or 1-2-1-3 split. I think they're only sending Jeems into the compound. Moonwolf though on the rotation. They're going to be just slowly rotating past, Knights, M19. M19 stopped in the farm to rotate even further. And here, as I said, FaZe, super slow rotation. They're always going to be the last ones out of their area, so they know that nobody else is gatekeeping them, and they're taking the most clever rotations they can. The piece of though, with an SLR, 2x though, so it's kind of hard to see. That's fair enough. Very strong gun. 58 damage.
Massively optimistic. Ooh, did he tag him on that second shot? He did. Just barely got Krem on the way by. We were talking about this earlier. I mean, obviously, at this point in time, optimism's great. If you get an incredibly miraculous headshot at that range, you get a guy down, that's awesome. Chances of actually getting kills on top of it, unlikely, but you can certainly pick apart at their armor. You can pick apart at their meds by doing so, and you can certainly bait them into other fights as they try and find deeper position inside of the circle. So you are right. Liquid's trying to play this gatekeeping style. Penta has gotten in toward the footing of the bridge. They'll hold. Moonwolf's also snuck in. All 16 teams in pretty good position considering the start. Obviously, FaZe taking their sweet time getting there, but with no panic at all. They've now been given the backside of Primorsk to play with. Or excuse me, a Pachinki, I should say, to play with as they try and work in from that east side. And because so many people want to get to the center of this circle, they've actually got a huge amount of room to work with early on.
Yeah, and this is kind of typical FaZe. They come in late in the first circle, second circle they move in a better position, and third they go for a good position. They take over a strategical point of the map they want to play on foot from. That's 100% their strategy, and they play 3 guys in front, 1 guy kind of in the back, making sure that they don't get third party because they know that's a new part of the meta. Oh, look at this, Mossy. He's gonna pop a tire though, and look at this. I think we're gonna have another night down.
Oh, it's unfortunate. He's got to reload when he does. The M16 trying to fire the shots, silenced. No idea where they're coming in from. You're right, Voxic had to get out of the car and run. He doesn't have a whole lot of cover. Fortunately for him, Mossy's unable to locate him, and he gets back inside of his smoke. That'll keep him alive for a while. Team Gate desperate will now try and spray him with multiple teammates. Voxic, he just barely got that heal off.
Getting a first hit off of that position is just going to buy him a few more minutes. I don't think he's going to survive this, unfortunately. It's extremely open field right here. And he's all alone with no support. We're going to see the news. Oh, look at this shrink. Completely center in the current zone, but still, we got to remember, the 4th zone, it's going to pop away from water. It's the land ratio. We have the land ratio. It's going to pop away from the water. So if the 3rd zone has water in it, then the teams, they know for sure that it's going to go away from water. So it's guaranteed. As little water as possible in the 4th and the 8th circle. Oh, look at this, though. M19, they knew they were late. They're going to take boats, and they're going to come into Primorsk.
I was a bit surprised not to see this sooner because, again, everyone's focused so far north of this circle, rotating in, and you called it. Voxic had nowhere to go. No team around him as Dignitas with Wookie Bookie finds the kill immediately under Lost. Nova's going to lose a player as a result of it, and Voxic finished off finally by Mossy. Took him a while, but he got there. That's all he wanted in the end. He had all day to fire at him with no pressure on from any other angle. Wookie Bookie, you're my favorite. Hit that Car 98 shot, please.
That name is so good.
It is pretty good.
It just rolls off the tongue,
yeah,
right?
It's not bad.
They have a good position. They're currently on the hill east of Quarry at the moment. You can see here on the map, a very good position. They have lines to south of them. Multiple teams are going on this hill. This is a very good hill for rotation. You come onto the hill, you can have 3 teams there, easily stop to rotate, and then make a decision where you want to go afterwards. So they're going to actually rotate a bit. They're going to take the compound just east of it, and they're going to be playing a 2-2 split, I think. M19, though, on the boats. I mean, it's summer, Having a boat in the summer is just nice,
Yeah,
Just feel the breeze in the hair.
Sweden's super hot right now.
Yeah.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow, I think, but we won't get to that yet.
I heard it's the hottest summer in 300 years. So, I mean,
yeah,
I can feel it.
Al Gore told me all about that once in a movie. I paid attention to some of it.
The important parts, I guess?
Yeah. We'll shy away from all the political jokes.
Yeah, let's do it. Profi, though, 8x and an SLR. Don't want to look down the end of that barrel. It's got eyes on Liquid. Liquid is actually rotating all the way towards their cars again. They left the compound, they won the cars, and now they're in a 2-2 split, so they're making sure that nobody's coming in from the east, so they can safely just have that whole hillside, topside to themselves, so they can use that as passage.
Only team that's really committed to it, too. I mean, wildcard to an extent. I would almost call it a 2-1-1. Pride has the same vision toward the inside of the quarry. By the way, Loot Crate coming down in that position, so keep an eye on that one. STD getting engaged. Rift, high fragger for that team. Absolutely spotting Integrate. So a Canadian team versus a Canadian player, and the fact that he's stuck down there and behind the car has nowhere to go. In fact, Nova might actually bail on him at this point in time. They want to try and pick him up. Meanwhile, Ghost is starting to engage with TG from the other side of things. In the mid side of the circle, Rifts will finally get Integrate down. No chance he's coming back. Yeah, team's already like,
Oh,
sorry, man,
look
you
at
know,
this.
nothing we can do for you, buddy.
No, unfortunate, but very nice from SDX. They knew there was a bike down there. You can kind of bait people with that because the bike is so strong. It's fast, and it's extremely mobile as well. Circle is coming in, though, here, and look at Liquid. They're still staying on the eastern side. Phase here, they've taken the hill outside the current new white zone. The zone is pushing in, but they heard
I love
Moonwolf.
how Survivor just went down and
Yeah.
PM'd it. I would have done the same thing, interrogate, just punch him in the head a few times, get him out of there, save some ammo. FaZe are in an interesting position as well. It was original that they were pushed in between TG and Moonwolf. TG has since rotated down inside of the map, and you talked about this. FaZe is comfortable just rotating around in late. They'll get position, and now Moonwolf, very curiously, suddenly find themselves being gate-kept and pushed well out from the wall that they were trying to control. Andy's, in fact, gone all the way back around FaZe and taken the other approach in the car, and they're going to do the same. Washout's gone. He's already bailed with the car as well. They don't even want to confront FaZe.
No, and they got 3 people left. They lost one already, unfortunately for them. But they're going to be rotating out. Very good call by Andy. Andy's out here. I'm not sure if Andy's actually shot calling because he is the sub. He usually plays for Method. He's still a Method player, but he's stopping for Moonwolf in this tournament. But good call coming in from the north here. The north is kind of clear, but the next zone is going to be the rough one. We're talking around Quarry, most likely around the Quarry area. It can accommodate so many players because it's so many layers and so elevated everywhere.
I was going to say that you can't possibly watch every side of Quarry. You can get the high ground, but even then you have to commit to looking over one side or the other. It's too vast to get absolute vision. Wookie Bookie takes down Sonic, so that's a second shot from him. That's out from a car 98, so he does hit a long one, this time quite far, actually. That's about 400 meters, if I were to guess.
It's a good look at this next circle, though.
Oh, if he hits that going in the door, it would have been huge. I think he just caught the backside of him. It wasn't a headshot.
Yeah, he got in the back. Next circle has popped. Let's look at this. It's going to go around the Quarry, and you see Wildcard. They were playing a 1-1-1. Because they wanted the whole Quarry, a 1-1-2 actually. They wanted the whole Quarry. But now they're colliding again. They're going to be playing a 2-2, but now everybody else is coming in. Dignitas is coming in the north. Na'Vi still has that same position they killed McCoy in, but look at that.
That's a bold rotation from Penta across the beach as well. No one's going to spot it, but look at Lions. You're right, Dignitas confronting already. Rezu's going to sit in behind the car, use that for cover however he dare. Gustav's been a menace many times. First map he actually caught FaZe in rotation from bottom side of the church. They thought it was Lions up above, but I think it was actually Gustav. Now we'll see them go head to head, and don't be misled because that smoke is absolutely in full bloom. He can't be spotted. Underhand gets caught by the box. That won't meet Rezu. He knows he's got company. He's got problems getting out. Support from his teammate needs to get closer, and 2 nades, that'll take him down. Nothing he can get from that situation. He's gone.
Gonna go down here. Unfortunately, he didn't make it out of there. He wanted to go back to his teammate, which is in the compound east of it. But now look at this. Bold rotation, as you said, from Penta. But they actually went to this hill, and they're gonna be confronting multiple teams now. Vitality's taking a fight, and M19 is also close to them.
Yannick's knocked as well, though, for Vitality. So this is not a prime situation for them to be in. M19 could third-party this from in between. They can actually pick the fight, as Chronix has to be careful on how to engage, having a teammate already down. They'll smoke him off and try and get the re-revive. The fact that Batulin's so far up the hill already, leaving Primorsk at this point, does actually favor them in doing so, because Chronix can get there while his teammates are actually safe from engagement. Vitality's going to have other problems on M19. Thankfully, Yannick, just barely, by the way, got to that hut. So he'll get a res off as well. At this point, it's jostling for position. And again, this does come back to taking out utility. You're going to take out armor. You're going to take out the meds from this situation. But the real race is getting across the road. They've got to get toward the north, toward Quarry.
Yeah.
And pick one of the 3. Penta, Vitality, or M19. One of those teams goes down doing it, absolutely.
I'm actually interested by Vitality taking the western side. They know it's open, but if they have to rotate from the western side later, it's going to be extremely hard for them. FaZe and Moonwolf here, look at that. They actually lost Hexeti.
Do the same thing.
Ooh, yeah, I see it. They're going to be coming in. They might take a shack, though, but look at this. Knights taking shots at EV. They're going to connect. Oh, Knights here. Texas taking some shots. Not connecting just yet. But Liquid, they're going to be continuing. They might be able to third-party this, but Penta might be ready. Let's look at this. They're gonna go for the shacks. 2-2 split on the shacks. Clever choice by them. They saw it. They got shot at them from. They got shot at from Penta already, so they wanted to just take it chill here and make sure they get the shacks.
Navi's engaging though. Navi can see the road. They see Liquid. Scoom's got problems because Shady's gonna try and fire back with the the Mini 14. Draining will get out of Ibitha immediately. So the fact that they 2-2 split, he's stuck in the shack. Ibitha's got no one near him. Scoom's already over toward the other side of this. Ibitha's gone. I don't even think they can get back to him because Chronix can cut off that rotation all too easily.
It looks like it. They have 4 guys alive. I'm not sure if there's one just on top of. No, there are 3 guys on Scoom. So Scoom, Jeems, and Samty, they're actually there. And they're going to be taking the cars, maybe taking the compound now. Let's look what's happened here. Jeems is actually leaving, and he's going to be coming up behind them. Meanwhile, the zone is closing in.
Does Yannick see him? He's going to go right by Yannick. He's going to pop out, try and spray it down, and I don't think there's anywhere to go. Perfect positioning from Jims. That is quite literally a gatekeep as he sat on the road. Remember, he was knocked in that position. His team moves on. He stays strictly to see if he can catch rotations, and it's not, I'm sure, what he was expecting. I thought he was probably waiting for M19. He gets gifted Liquid in a bit of a panic situation. If Beat is gone, Liquid's down to 2.
Unfortunate for Liquid. Ibiza is still knocked over there, but I doubt it that he's going to be picked up. Navi's still in a great position on the hill. They can move anywhere where they want. If the zone goes east, if it goes west, wherever it goes. Here, this, as you said, it's going to go away from water. Not a single drop of water inside this circle. Navi in a great spot on the top, but the problem with this circle, the 4th circle, you still have 16 teams alive. And if you're in the middle, you're going to be pinched in everywhere. Everybody's going to want to get to your position, and everybody wants to attack.
It's great high ground if you can get the information early enough. The problem is there's not a lot of cover if you get pushed by a third party in any direction, as you say, literally any direction. Sangel's done well to stay alive and stay quiet in this game. Remember, they had slow starts earlier on in this event, but so far they've stayed out of harm's way. The 2-2 split dropping Zarky and North George. They've rotated down and stayed out of trouble, and now they can start to engage, but they are well removed from the current circle, and the fact that they're firing early is drawing a lot of attention from STDX, and they've got Moonwolf just above them as well on the reverse side of Quarry. So Sangel's going to send Shakies out first. They want to see if he can get any positioning for them, and then they can rotate in accordingly. He's going to engage, actually. Smithy from Novo is already on top of it. Meanwhile, Team Gates and Lions going head-to-head. Lions in this game are not up to their old tactics, or at least up to their old habits of Miramar, because they've only got 2 left alive. Positioning inside of the warehouse. They don't necessarily have to engage yet, but certainly one aware of the other, as Cleo's already thrown out a nade in that direction. This is exactly the importance from Sangal. They need Shakies to get this position, because if Smithy's sitting alone inside of that hut, gets him down, it's going to discourage and dissuade anything in this rotation. But if he can even find that one, they've got the entire Quarry wall to play off of, and then the rotation becomes entirely possible. His team's actually heading in that direction now, and he's well aware that Smithy's is in there. Cooks the nade. Nowhere for Smithy's to go. That's got to be a kill. Gone, down, done. There's no chance he's getting revived, and Shakies will go into confirming.
Now Team Gates as well. They're attacking Lions here in this compound. They actually took them down. So Lions is going to be the first team. Our current #1 place is going to be taken down by Team Gates.
That's huge. They just did everyone in this tournament a favor on day 1 if they want to level the playing field. You can certainly be a spoiler when you take out the lead. Remember, any of the leading teams, for that matter, they had a 200-point lead coming into this. Ghost, meanwhile, Profi's going to take that charge. Absolutely not surprising in any way, shape, or form. Bullock, the anchor of the team, oftentimes the wise man, and when it comes to decisions, will sit back. And Profi is risk versus reward. He'll weigh his decision and hold for now on the outside of the broken wall. Spots, in fact, someone he was not intending to see, and good eyes to do so as he pushes Echo back down over the hill on the reverse side.
Positioning here for Ghost. They heard this fight and they want to take down Team Gates. They saw a few knocks on Team Gates as well. They actually lost one person completely. So they want to take this fight and they want to third party this because they know they're split. They saw one of the players on the hill. One of the guys is inside the big warehouse. They just want to third party this fight and make sure they can take over this compound.
FaZe under fire as well, meanwhile, from Dignitas. That's going to pull Andy in his direction with the car, but he's going to fail on it. Meanwhile, we got to keep it STD. Trying to lock things down on top of the hill. WC, they've had position for pretty much the entire time. At the top side of Quarry, are going to start to have problems in many different directions. Fignaldo. From range, he'll get tagged. He's unworried of that so far. He wants to try and force WC off the position because that will give them access directly inside of the circle. Right now, they're being gate-kept. And with the Quarry as it is, if they go left, FaZe is on the reverse side and it can easily spot them. But they're now going to have problems in the fact that they could third-party against Dignitas. Wookie Bookie again, getting on the scoreboard, getting a kill in from far, a knock so far. And yeah, STD, no chance. They couldn't clear it. Good positioning, Tumali, and immediately it's Pride with the kill. And to follow it up, they'll finish off Fignaldo. And it's FaZe that actually is going to steal one on that, so that's a kill for them to note. Yeah,
but good for them as well. Good position here from Wildcard. Honestly, this small split they had completely saved them from this third-party push from Set to Destroy. FaZe Mexi in a hard position. Dignitas is shooting at them. And Moonwolf down there as well. Look at that. Snakers is going to third-party that as well, or fourth-party if you even.
Yeah.
Now Mexi, he's going to try to get inside the zone, but this zone is moving already.
Na'Vi hasn't even been touched. It's almost like the zone is the opposite right now. If you want to be in it, it's where the blue... Everyone's playing the outside of it, still trying to get position. And Na'Vi has the top of the hill and can choose their fights, which they are now doing. Scoom struck behind a tree, needs a support fire from his teammate, but doesn't have that because Liquid doesn't have room to work with. They've split up entirely. Sampke's still back down on the beach. He might have to go clutch like he did in the last round and just try and snake his way inside of the top 5, which is where, quite frankly, the points start to close up. Very top-heavy score.
And look at this moment right now. We can cut the circle in half, and only 3 teams is on the eastern side of it. Everybody else is on the west because we had a kind of a shift, but also kind of how the circle plays out. You have a lot of people you can accommodate around the Quarry. You can have, you know, all the Primors that can just move in. You only have Knights, Team Gates, and Ghost on the eastern side. Absolutely insane here. So everybody's going to be pushing on to Na'Vi, and they might lose position if they don't back down a bit.
Na'Vi's still doing what he thinks is battle toward this compound. Have to back off of it, get toward the circle. His teammate's already gone in rotation. TG backed off the fight as well, so they sort of just containing each other at this point in time. FaZe, oh, this nade could be massive. Does it reach? It will get around the corner. That's Echo gone. Perfectly thrown from Mixie, and immediately Andy's going to try and res, but he's got to crawl back around the corner. Second nade coming in. This could be both done. He hears it, but can he run far enough? Andy, gone. Turned around and got caught out by it. Perfect nade, but unfortunately Mixie stuck in the blue will go down as well and got caught off in the process. Third party by Liquid.
Oh, look at all these teams that are going down. We're down to 15 teams, but the top UI is only showing FaZe. We have multiple teams going down. Moonwolf is down. Penta is down. Ghost is still taking a third-party fight here with Team Gates and gatekeeping everybody else.
Vitality caught in crossfire as well with M19. Have to be worried that immediately Wildcard could rotate onto their position. Na'Vi is yet to be touched. You said it. They could be pushed from all directions, but no one wants to. They're all stuck caught on each other and can't get toward the circle cleanly. Batulin's even crossed the road for free at this point, coming from the south side of the circle. Sampty, meanwhile, is still down there, hoping at this point perhaps to deny or get kills in transition, because the likeliness of him getting across the road solo is going to either need a car and a Hail Mary or some desperate play. Nice shot from Kickstart.
It's a nice headshot. Very nice knock here. And now Wildcat, they could potentially push on this knock. This is what we usually see. You get a knock and then you push on it. Wildcat is very good at this. They like to push after they got a knock, especially in such an open space. But they got City Destroyers above them that kind of gatekeeps them as well.
Sampty getting spotted. Desperate to run across the beach. And he's heading toward the direction of Knights. He might just barely get back inside of the circle. And this is where, again, he could be a snake, but he's spotted. Knights firing at him as well. There's nowhere for him to go. And Liquid might be out again. After such a great performance of PGI, down to 1 player, and Sampty just desperate to try and stay alive as long as he can and get them more points. They need desperately for someone else to go down and bow out of this. Team Gates, the only other team with 1 alive, and it's Silo that's going to be sitting back toward the blue. He's gone. He's out of it, so at least 1 more position for Liquid. STDX have bowed out as well. Sampty staying alive is getting further points. He's just being a hero at this point. Master of keeping himself alive late and staying out of trouble. Uba, meanwhile, takes out Monkey. That's going to put Vitality down a player as they start to try and move toward Batulin. He's just holding the edge of the circle.
He's done an amazing job, and Na'Vi has done an amazing job at gatekeeping and making sure that everybody's kind of staying outside. But now, at this point, everybody's just forcing their way in. They're forcing their way in, making sure they get just inside the circle, and they don't want to fight everybody at the same time.
Na'Vi here's the fight to the north as well. They can third party in as Wildcard engages immediately. Tumai's got another shot. They've got a number of kills in this game so far on the Wildcard side. Gustav, the one to go down. It's a knock, not a kill, but no smoke on top of him as of yet. They want to try and rotate back in on Civil, trying to use cover, but here it is. Na'Vi, they heard this. They've been waiting the whole time on the hill to decide who they wanted to go after. Madu will take down Tamu at range. It's immediately, they'll look at the amount of nades coming back in. Finally, WC is going to lose Tumai. He's been so solid in this game, but it's Bollock to get there, and Ghost have the entire northwest of the circle, sorry, northeast of the circle to play with.
And Kickstart here, they're completely pinched out. 2 walkout players. They're outside the current white zone. They're going to be pushed in. Na'Vi, 4 guys alive. Ghost, 3 guys alive. They're completely pinched between 2 nails at the moment. Batulin's snaking his way in. He's inside the current white, but he's got Vitality just above him. Shadow here is making his way in as well. Kickstart snaking is in, making sure they can stay alive here. Ghost there inside the circle, inside the current white as well. Kramer is staying behind, and he sent Texas off into the circle already. Batulin here, he's one with that push right now. Jazza has not noticed him. He's taking a fight with Knights now. Texas tried to cross that.
The question is, the fact that Shadow's there as well. Batulin's not willing to move at all because any movement will draw attention to him. But he's got a similar situation to Sampty where trigger discipline becomes everything. Meanwhile, Poke at the top side of the hill.
Look at that, Yannick.
Yannick's going to go right by him.
He's going to go
touching each other. They don't even realize now he does. Yannick suddenly becomes aware of the fact that, hang on, Batulin, what are you doing here? And again, Batulin not willing to move and look around, didn't even see him coming. That saves potentially a massive catastrophe for Vitality because he knew they were to his left side, just up the hill, and the last player in manages to thwart any possibility of a snake in the grass tempting fate. Tex is the only one left, meanwhile, for Knights. He's got good position on Ghost, but now we've got actually a fairly decent-sized play space with only 5 teams left alive, and many of them extremely healthy. We've got 4 still alive for Na'Vi, and they haven't had to move at all.
No, they took this position from McCoy, from Ghost in the very beginning. Amazed that Ghost actually made it in the same, and they just kind of collided in the end here. We'll see who's going to come out on top, though. Texas, he's got a lot of space here. Let's look at this next circle here. It's going to pop soon. Who's going to favor? Nobody's in the middle. If we get a completely middle circle, it's going to favor somebody. Look at that. Ghost, they're happy. Wildcard, they're happy. But look at this. With Na'Vi, 4 guys alive, they're going to be pushing in and making sure they're clearing that left side. So they're going to be colliding completely with Wildcard. Vitality, by far in the hardest position right now. They have to go up onto the hill and third party or attack Na'Vi if they may. Yannick do have a big boy gun, though. I just saw just a swift of it. He does have an 8 LBM.
That's pretty sexy. Considering where we are, this wide open hill, not a whole lot, certainly trees to play around, but not a whole lot of rocks, not a whole lot of dips for cover. High ground, speaking of, though, does certainly favor Wildcard if they want to make a move and get toward it, because everyone else has to move up, including Na'Vi, who have been quite happy with that so far. Meanwhile, Bullock, he's been playing basically a 2-1 system throughout with Ghost, with Profi off on the wing trying to get information. So far, they haven't had too much confrontation other than that one fight with Team Gates. Obviously, you mentioned McCoy going down on his own earlier on, but since then, it's been pretty straightforward for them. Tex is going to stay quiet on this. Profi could spot him. He's down over the dip, but I'm not sure there's a direct line of sight because of that. But Profi's doing everything he can to look in that direction and see what's waiting down below. Na'Vi, again, still hesitant, but playing this absolutely as a unit. They know they have strength in numbers at this point in time, and they're going to take advantage of it.
He's going to try to snake all this way in right there. Yannick also had the ghillie suit, so he could potentially just go on up on a 2-1 split, making sure that they survive to the later game, but we'll see here what's going to happen. Na'Vi, they're 100% aware of Vitality. They shot at them earlier in this game. Kickstart, though, he's snaking. He's making sure that he can get into the zone, and he's actually got the hill with him, as you said before. Jasa, oh, look at this. And now Ghost, they're going to engage. Taking a few shots at Na'Vi, making sure that they stay over on that side of the hill.
Certainly gives them a bit of a shield in that. Best defense is a good offense, but as you see, Na'Vi running around, they haven't yet spotted Wildcard. And if they overstep this, there's not a lot of health left for them, which is why they're trying to play together as a team. Vitality's going to swing up behind. This becomes a pinch play, and Na'Vi's stuck in the middle of it. They might have numbers, but they don't have position. Poke it down already. Jazza's got the shot immediately. Shadow drops to the deck as Jazza does the rest of the fighting. Nade comes through, but they want to spray into it. Shadow tags. That nade might catch him. It might be close enough, and it is now. I don't think it was without the damage of the bullets coming through, and it's all on Yannick. He's found. He's dropped, and Na'Vi's survived, but only just. Uba's down. Shade's got to go. Actually, excuse me, Shade's down as well. I thought he was still knocked. He went down completely, so Na'Vi lose 1. Nearly 2 in it. Drainy has to reload and reset. Heal and his last medkit being used. Ghost suddenly becomes the favorite in this.
Yeah, now he actually took down Uber, so Drainus is definitely the one. And they're down now, so now he's going to get 40, and now Ghost has 3 guys alive. Kickstart, they're kind of limping their way in, making sure that they can get to the late game. Not sure how much armor and durability they have left. And look at this, Texas. He just snuck his way in, making sure that he gets to top 3.
Yeah, and he might even get more than that, because they're going to engage. He might be able to pull this off. Turtle, good spot. Just barely spots Pride Foot. And they know they, despite not having the high ground, have this swing in the circle. They can play the bottom side of the hill. They can rotate around, and they know exactly where Wildcard are playing from. Probably taking no chances. Will spray every single bush. Not to be blamed at this point in time, because Ghost in a 3 versus 1 versus 1. And Kickstart not moving. Tex can absolutely sneak in and get a top 2. Beyond that, it looks like Ghost are going to recover. Lost McCoy early on. In fact, one of the first players to go down in this map. But they pulled it back, and they said that they're not a day 1 team. They weren't worried as of yet, and they've certainly got reason not to be. Kickstart gone. It's a 3-on-1, and Tex, he's been patient, but Profi is looking in this direction. Turtle gets rezzed. Profi's going to be waiting, absolutely, and expecting perhaps that he was even down there, because remember, he was the one looking that direction the whole time before the engagement, before the shift of the last circle. Tex making all the noise. Nade's already going in that direction. He's spotted in the open. Nade's going to land directly on top of him, or just a little shy, I suppose.
He's got 1 player down now. He's pre-firing a bit here. He's down to about 1/3 of his health. He's not going to be happy with this. Balak on the third party, though, or in the flank. Let's see what's going to happen here.
No time to get off the heel. Tex is just going to try and continue to engage. Bullock, again, is bleeding and getting to the side, but it was absolutely said and done once it was a 3 versus 1, and they had the circle to work with. Great recovery. Ghost, they'll pick up their first map win. A little bit of sweat, shake it off. McCoy had to sit and watch that entire time.
Yeah, they literally lost to that same position. You know, in the beginning of the game, he took that position, and Na'Vi, fortunately for Ghost, you know, Vitality, they pushed and knocked 3 out of 4 of Na'Vi's member, completely opening this game to Ghost.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think Ghost, as is often the case in PUBG, you don't win games doing all the work yourself. You have to rely on other teams to be there for you, and in that case they were. Na'Vi being so patient the whole time, having the circle the whole time, having 4 players pretty much holding hands the whole time, had the worst possible thing happen to them, because you did say it earlier on. You did point it out about 10 minutes before it even happened, is that in that position they could be pushed from all angles, and despite that it was a 2-2 pushing from both directions, it just caught them off. It was just enough to disorient them. They lost 2 players in that engagement, and then everyone knew where they were.
I'm actually surprised they got so far into the game. They got 11 kills as well, so that also talks to how good they were defending that position.
Yep.
They only had the 3, small CX. It's not a good position you want to kind of hold down, but they defended very well. Came into the later game, unfortunately for them, Vitality completely spoiled them. They were actually down to, it's 1v1 in the end. Ghost completely third-partied that in the end as well. Perfect for Ghost.
Yeah, unbelievably well played. And it does come off, and it was encouraging to see, because Profi, we know, likes to be very aggressive. When he took that compound toward the wall, excellent spot to see the player. I can't remember who it was. It was one of the TG players. Top of the hill. I think it was Echo. Yeah, Echo. He pushed him back down, and it was a good read, and then he knew, okay, they know I'm here, and he chooses not to engage. I think if he chooses to engage on that, it's an overcommitment. They know TG's just won the fight against Lions, who have been red hot all day. I think they arguably could have lost the game on that split decision, and the fact that he decides to sit back, whether Bullet called, hey, let's not engage on this, let's play the circle, it works out perfectly for them.
Yeah, fantastic play. Unfortunately for Liquid, they were down to 3 players early. They had a good push. Samty kind of clutched it out, making sure that he survived. I think he got 3 or 4 positions by just snaking in the end, so okay for them. Tollens Lions, though, first team out. It's going to open up the leaderboard.
Massively, massively. I mean, we saw WC with a poor performance in the second map. They're still in it, but that's huge. Everyone else needs to thank the fact that they went out early. But that said, a man who's going to take us for a ride, it's Mustache Dave.